Welcome. Thanks for tuning in and checking out this review from Honest Product Reviews, where we test products so you know what you're getting. Today we've got the Vevor Tactical Range Case Outdoor 42-inch IP67 waterproof, crush proof, coming in at $90 from the Vevor website. Let's get right into it. So I ordered one of these cases. It showed up, and I could immediately, just when I took it out of the box, I could tell that it was definitely not waterproof. So I decided to test whether it was waterproof, and it failed. So I contacted the company. They sent me a second one. Now, the customer service was not great. I gotta be honest. They tried to tell me that it has a seal. They could see in the photos that I sent them that it had a seal, so everything was fine. I got back to them, told them, no, I did a water test. It's not fine. So they sent me a second one and did give me a partial refund. So this is the second case. It showed up, and I want to show you guys the deal. So I'm going to replicate the exact test I did on the first case on the second case. Now, on the table next to it here, I have a Pelican 1720, the gold standard of equipment cases globally. Now, the Vevor, upon first glance, they look almost identical. Slight variances. The first big noticeable thing, this is actually polymer. This is just plastic. Now, keep in mind, polymer retains its shape. It's a much harder plastic versus, or composite, versus this is just a straight up plastic. Now, you can see the big gap right there that goes all the way around. That's kind of the dead giveaway that it's not waterproof or airtight or dustproof. When you look at the Pelican for comparison, there's hardly any gap. All the way down. The two clamshell halves meet up nice and tight. There is a bit of a gap, but I can kind of get a fingernail in there. It's pretty small. I've had this Pelican case for a while. Now, as far as features go, large foldable handle, four clasps. You can see the Pelican has a metal insert over the locking tab. The Vevor is just plastic. The Vevor, they both have wheels. The Pelican wheels actually have steel bearings that you can replace, and the Vevor, it's just plastic wheels with a through pin, although they do roll pretty well. The top handle, both of them have one of those, so you can roll it through an airport. The one thing I really like about the Vevor is its weight. It is so lightweight, about 7 pounds, 6.5 pounds. I didn't put it on a scale. The Pelicans, they come in at about 15, so it's roughly half the weight, but you get half the product. Also, the price on the Vevor is full price, $80. They gave me half a refund and then sent me a second one because I told them I was going to be doing a review. I did ask them to test the second case and make sure, if they were going to send me one, that it was waterproof. I don't think they did that because, again, it's got this same huge gap. What really gives it away is I can physically squeeze the case. See that? And I can hear there's no gasket, and then I can kind of feel it squish the gasket, and then I can hear it release, and like just some sound comes from there. So I'm pretty sure it's not waterproof, but we're going to test that out here. Moving on to the inside, they both have foam. The foam that comes with the Vevor, it's a really cheap, super low density foam. I actually, when I first opened it just to look at it, I was just grabbing this and put a finger through it somewhere in here. I don't know where it is, but yeah, you know, it's a case. It does have a lip that should recess to this seal, but really what they did wrong is they did not make that lip deep enough, and because it's a soft plastic, it doesn't retain its shape to ensure a tight seal. Top lid. Now the Pelican, if you guys have any experience, they use a firmer foam. It's a little bit higher density, and it just works. It lasts a long time. You don't have to worry about it falling apart. I really like the Pelican foam. So anyway, Pelican also has a rubber seal, a bigger lip through there to go into that seal. And again, the plastic itself, like you can't squeeze this and compress it. You know, it's a polymer. You guys are familiar with polymers. It's kind of a plastic composite that has a different chemical makeup, and it's rugged stuff. Anyway, so the test that I did on the first one, when I suspected it was not waterproof, airtight, was to fill up a gallon jug of water. I happen to have one. I have a second gallon jug, but it fell off the table when I first was getting set up to do this test. So I'm going to use both jugs, but this one's going to be tricky. So the test I devised initially was to just fill up a jug and pour it over the case. And it actually worked really well. It's a good test to do. So you guys are going to see that right now. So first, the Vevor. Just pouring it. Kind of focusing. Obviously, there's not going to be water unless the case is cracked. There's not going to be water going through the solid surface. So I'm just focusing on where the two halves come together. And this video is done all in one take, no editing, so you just saw the inside. Both cases are dry. No funny business going on. And if you were using these cases, like say you're on a boat or you throw it in the back of a truck, you know, you want to make sure your equipment is going to be secure, safe, dry, dust proof, whatever you need. And if that seal is compromised, it's not gonna keep your equipment safe, which is the whole point of an expensive hard case. Now, the Vevor, it's not expensive. So if you don't really need full-on waterproof, dustproof, for about a third of the price, or less than a third of the price, because that case is $80. These Pelicans, they come in at brand new over $300 if you don't find them on sale. Now, Pelican is the gold standard. Again, they've been deployed all over the planet, keeping gear safe for over 20, 30 years. Company started in the 90s, and they do it in the harshest environments on the planet. I've had this case for a while. It goes in the back of the truck. It goes in the back of the sub. It goes in, it goes everywhere when we head out to do training. And it just keeps going. These are, it's an $80 case. So you have to make that decision. Do you need full commercial grade, 100% waterproof? If you bring it on a boat and you drop it overboard, it will float quality. If so, this is what you're getting with a Pelican. With a Vevor, we're about to find out. All right, let's open it up. Hope y'all are ready. Okay. And, there's a lot of water in there. Oh, yeah. You can see the watermarks all over. Oh, yeah. Look at that. She's wet. This is the same thing that the first one did. And I actually sent them a video because when you go on their website, you have to send them a video in order to do. Yeah, look at that. There's water in there. This table's kind of tilted, so as you can see, with the foam's dripping. Yep. She's wet. So in order to send in a customer service request to the Vevor website, you have to take a little video. So that's kind of annoying. They do have a 30-day guarantee, kind of like Amazon, but as I mentioned, I don't know. It's not awesome. All right. We have the Pelican. It's all dry. All dry. Look at that. All dry. Let's pull the foam up. And yeah, all nice and dry. So there you have it. You have to be the judge of what you need. For $80, I'm a firm believer in hard cases. I've got soft cases for some of my gear, but I do, especially if it's getting, when we're going places, going to the range, whatever, taking trips. I do like using a hard case. It just keeps things safer. And yeah, for $80, you get what you pay for. I hope this was helpful. If you like the product reviews, I'm going to be doing more. I think this is fun. I wish I could have found, I looked online, I couldn't find any reviews on these on this Vevor case product. I have a friend who also ordered something off of their website, which is how I learned about them. What they got was also cheap Chinese quality, but it also comes with a cheap Chinese price. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for putting in the time to watch this video. Smash the subscribe or like. Appreciate you, and we'll see you next time.